All right, everyone. Julian Assange is facing multiple espionage counts now. The Trump administration, supposedly the Trump administration itself, which insinuates Trump's blessing specifically, that was responsible for asking for these charges. Now, Assange right now is facing extradition. He's fighting that legally right now, but he'll probably get extradited. The initial charges against him, though, had nothing to do with espionage. They had to do specifically with I can't remember exactly the charge they were giving him, but it was because when he was talking to Manning, he was insinuating that Manning should dig for more information and keep feeding it. And that's considered like illegal in some way. Even I don't know. I don't know that charge would stick though. Like they could bring him here, charge him, he gets freed, and it'd be a big problem. So now they're going for espionage charges. And the thing is, I think what they're hoping to get him extradited. They know that the initial charges won't stick, so they want to litigate against him forever. They want him to basically die in court. That's what this is about. And they'll try, because it's espionage, they'll try to muzzle him and be all secretive and opaque. Now, I want to hear from Trump whether he thinks this is a good idea or whether this is some lower down executive individual within the administration that made this call. I want to know it's just like before. It pissed me off because Trump sort of has waffled around on the issue of Assange and WikiLeaks. He's both praised and condemned both. And I am not comfortable with that. To tell the truth, one of the biggest problems I have with Trump is over the issue of WikiLeaks and Assange. I happen to think that investigative journalism is a good thing. The problem with the world is that not enough of it occurs. All the lamestream legacy media networks have been sold out long ago to the political establishment. They no longer investigate. They won't investigate a politician unless they step out of the neo-lib, neocon line. Basically, they'll investigate. Vice news reporters try to break into the home of the owner of 8chan, but would they dare to do something like that, to go through Dianne Feinstein's laundry? I think there's a little bit of a double standard here. And the funny thing is, of course, the owner of 8chan can't start wars. So there's a little bit of a different, well, arguably, but you know what I mean, in the legal sense, in the official capacity. I oppose this. I don't think Assange is guilty of espionage. I think these are bullshit charges, number one. Number two, it pisses me off that Trump won't come out and directly condemn such actions. Like, he should come out and say, well, this isn't my call to make. This is the Attorney General or something, and the military has determined this. I disagree or something. The only problem is, and this is the one reason that I can't condemn Trump entirely, is that if he were to do that, the Ma Russia thing would be re-inflamed, and he'd sort of be falling on his own sword on behalf of Julian Assange. My hope, of course, my still biggest hope is that these crazy Q people actually are true, and it's like, oh, don't worry about it. People behind the scenes will, I don't know, come in with a helicopter and save Assange, fly him to Bolivia or something like that. I just don't see it in the cards. I think he'll end up extradited and dying in court. And not even necessarily imprisoned in the general sense, just being constantly harassed by the legal system. You realize how long it can take courts that are be involved with an espionage case, correct? And then the bullshit claim of WikiLeaks being like a Russian asset starts to make less sense when you realize that they've released Kremlin papers as well. But most people are ignorant of that fact. Unless the problem is that most people still don't interact with that content. They don't dig any deeper than CNN says WikiLeaks did X, Y, and Z. So they actually have no clue what's there. All they know is that WikiLeaks released a bunch of Clinton documents and DNC emails and stuff like that, and so they think, well, that means Assange and WikiLeaks, they're on the right, they're Russian pawns because Orange Man bad and Orange Man Putin's puppet and stuff like that, which is patent nonsense. It's always been fake. It's like the legacy media and the Democrats got together to try to create an alternate reality, which actually isn't real at all. And it's funny because they actually project that about Trump constantly, like saying that he says like weird shit over and over that's patently false in an effort to basically brainwash his supporters. While he says some weird shit, that's definitely true. It's mostly coming from the other side. But it's interesting. So since the Trump admin is trying to, imprison Assange, are the Democrats all of a sudden going to choose to believe that he's not a Russian pawn and that he's actually just a really above-board investigative journalist and he should be released? It'd be nice to have the actual liberals back that were there like 15 years ago that would have said such a thing. It'd be nice to have the liberals back that cheered Assange on when he was releasing shit related to the Iraq War, that made Bush look like an asshole, which he was. Be nice to have them back, but in the wake of Obama, they've become such establishmentarians. It's like it's impossible to deal with half of these people. They sound like Bush to me. They sound like fucking Dick. Sometimes the Obama libs, they sound like Dick Cheney to me a little bit. Especially now that they've embraced war and censorship. It's like it's a bizarre planet that we're living on. I don't think that Assange should be in jail. I don't think Assange should have anything done to him. I think he should be totally free. The big problem is, of course, like, let's say that happens. Like, Trump says, okay, well, I'm issuing a pardon or commutation. He can just walk free. He'd probably get his head blown off the second that he walked out of the courtroom because for knowing too much or something. Some CIA agent would take him out, some KGB agent, or, you know, somebody from the post-East German Gestapo or whatever. Somebody who has an axe to grind against him and a bone to pick would take care of him, I suppose. And when you're doing that sort of thing, if you're going to be a muckraker, yeah, you're going to make a lot of enemies, especially if you're running WikiLeaks. Those enemies tend to be billionaires. And remember, what was it, the Panama cables and stuff like that? Wasn't that through WikiLeaks? Or was that Guccifer or something? I can't remember. Sometimes the data leaks run together a little bit. I don't think Assange did anything wrong. Oh my God, he uncovered the fact that the U.S. government was habitually lying to the population, wasting our money on stupid shit related to war. Oh my God, he helped to reveal the fact that the Democratic National Committee was doing shady shit and coordinating literally with the mass media. Oh my God, they uncovered the fact that Clinton says weird shit in her emails. And that Bill is still dicking women on the side and stuff like that, according to Colin Powell or whoever it was. Oh my God, what a terrible person. He really endangered national security. No, maybe if the U.S. government were a bit more above board and fucked up a little bit less, it wouldn't really matter now, wouldn't it? Because our enemies couldn't use this information as a tool to make us look like a laughingstock if our government wasn't a laughingstock. They did it to themselves. The Clinton campaign sunk itself anyway. No, I don't think that the Clinton emails or the DNC leaks are what caused Hillary Clinton to lose. I think not going to the Rust Belt probably sealed the deal on that one. Could be totally wrong. Remember when it was Russia that was supposedly responsible? We found out that's bullshit. Even Nate Silver couldn't cover for their asses. I remember his article like fucking 4 months ago. He's like, well, if Russia played a role in the election, it didn't swing the election because they couldn't have interfered enough to overcome these numbers, essentially. Good on him for admitting the truth. That makes one of the liberals that was willing to do that. I say we should free Assange. Yeah, I think he should be completely free right now. That's about all. Peace out.